messages, but if you could call back on Monday, she should be in then.
The mainstream media, a powerful machine that's somehow terraforming the political, economic, and cultural landscape of America. And we see this every day in the movies and nightly news, a continuous assault on traditional values and important principles set forth in the U.S. Constitution. Unfortunately, few of us understand what's happening because those who are paid to inform us are actually paid to keep their mouths shut. For were the anchors or celebrities who work for the networks and studios to make the mainstream media the issue, or were they to say the wrong thing, they would be fired or blacklisted. Given these realities, the documentary you are about to see will probably not be coming to a theater near you. And the reason for this is because we will be pulling back the curtain to see why the mainstream media is indeed the issue. We will now see how Hollywood movies and the New York media create what could be called a restraint of trade in the marketplace of ideas.
The marketplace of ideas concept is really one of the underlying principles of our democracy. And the idea is that if we do not restrict the flow of information and ideas that are available for a particular discussion, a public discourse, some issue that is of importance to the country, we're more likely to come up with the best idea or the truth.
Well, restraint of trade actually takes you back to what is the standard of trade. And generally in the history of this country, it's been the concept of the free market, open competition. So therefore, restraint of trade is anything that infringes upon open competition and limits the freedom of the market.
This applies to the film industry in the sense that to the extent that we narrow the availability of ideas, then the film industry in effect is diminishing the strength of our democracy.
And we will see why the mainstream media promotes the globalist agenda, an agenda that sanctifies free trade, has destroyed the U.S. manufacturing base, bled the American middle class of jobs, corrupted the family unit, tolerated fiat currency, and encourages infringement of the Second Amendment so completely, we the people are increasingly subject to the very terror the mainstream media helps generate every evening on the nightly news.
The agenda is to build what they like to call a new world order. The new world order is world government based on the model of collectivism. In its essence, collectivism is a political and social system. It's the kind of system that Adolf Hitler had in mind, that Lenin had in mind, Stalin and Mao Zedong. So the globalist agenda, in my view, is not a good thing. It's an agenda for world enslavement.
But before we get into these issues, let's take a quick look at the history of the Hollywood movies. What would grow into radio, television, and cable networks to collectively become the mainstream media, a term that refers to any program that's produced and/or distributed by the major studios or networks and seen by a wide audience.